Hi, what time is it? It's time to talk about all of the palettes I've used this month, and I actually have quite a big pile of palettes I'm getting rid of. Yeah, so if you want to see that, just keep watching. Okay, so I used the Persona Identity 2 palette, I believe. I just used the black shade. Like, I can't say a whole lot, you know. I do really like this palette. I won it in a giveaway from Leanna Dalton. It's a stunning palette. This month I only used the black. Also, I used the ABH Alyssa Edwards palette from Makeup by POW. I used the white and the black. I use the black for my brows a lot, and I've been using the white quite a bit. I'm currently working on trying to hit pan in the black. Okay, I used the Lush Life palette from ColourPop. I used the Monsoon shade. I got this from Andy Does Stuff, and yeah, that is the shade. I think the only shade I used, but I like this palette a lot. So I used the Mercury Retrograde by Huda Beauty, and I actually got this from Kristen Beauty Beatdown, and I've been enjoying it. I really like the shimmers in this palette. I paired that like a couple of times this month. I used the Arcana by Shroud. I have mixed feelings about this palette. I love the formula. I love how dark it is, but I also just feel like this is a one matte and then a shimmer look, and that's not really what I normally go for. I need to play around with this palette more. The formula is amazing. I'm just not, and I love, like, yes, but I'm not sure it's for me. Another one I'm not sure is for me is the Strawberry Dream from Lunar Beauty. I love this packaging, and the shimmers are nice. I didn't have any problems with the formula, but I'm not sure. I need to play around with it more. I did like the look that I got with it, so there is that. That's why it's still here. If I would have had a difficult time with it, I would have gotten rid of it. This is the Melt She's in Party. I combined this with a palette, and I used it, and I like this palette, and yeah. I included this because these are the Sydney Grace and the single Lunar Beauty shadow that I got from Andy Does Stuff, and I did create a look with it, so I included this. I know, weird. I have the 420 palette from Melt, and I did this in a collab, and I used it. I love this palette so freaking much. Yes, love it. I used a lot of Melt this month, apparently. I used the Melt Millennial Pinks, and this palette is so dirty. I'm sorry. I tried cleaning it at one point, and that's why it's like looks even worse. I enjoy this palette. I like it. Yeah. I like the combinations of pink and gray. I use the Kaleidos Flower Punk palette. It looks like this. It's a very pretty palette. I really like the shimmers in this palette and enjoy it. I use the Nomad Harajuku palette. It looks like this. I really like this palette. It's not one that I like to use for the pastels, but I like the shimmers and the two gray tones. These are fine. These work fine, but I just don't wear a ton of pastel colors. I will, like, you know, on top of other colors, but that's all pastels, so I'm not a big fan of all pastels. Anyways, I use the Dark Fantasy by Beauty Bay. I love Beauty Bay. I'm not sure this is quite so much my favorite palette from them, but it's growing on me. So yeah. I use the ColourPop High Tide. That's what I'm wearing today. Although my inner corner and my glitter is not from this palette. It's a really good palette. I honestly don't have a lot of teals like this. Otherwise, I would have gotten rid of this palette, to be honest. But because it does kind of offer something unique in my collection, that's why I have it. I also use the Be Perfect Carnival. Are you surprised? This is the Love Tahiti that came from Andy Does Stuff. I love this palette so freaking much. I love it. And another palette that I absolutely love is the Be Perfect Carnival Antidote palette that I got from Makeup by Pia W. Almost dropped it. And again, I absolutely love this palette. So I clearly didn't use very many this month, and if I would have only been using one palette per look, I would not have used very many. I just haven't been doing my makeup very much. Just haven't felt like it. But I have several palettes now that I'm going to declutter, and I'm going to show you what those are. I have been swatching my palettes, and it's been helping me decide what I really want to keep and what I don't. So let's just get into it. This Citrine palette from BH, I'm going to get rid of it. I am going to pop out this Brilliant shade because this pressed glitter is actually very, very pretty. So I'm going to take that out, but I'm going to get rid of the rest of the palette. I am getting rid of the Blueberry Dream from BH Cosmetics. I have the Passion in Paris that I like more than this. This is blinding you. I'm sorry. This formula is very good, but it's just, out of the things that I have, I'm not going to reach for this over them. So I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to get rid of the Garnet from January. I was keeping it for the black glitter, but you guys, I could pop it out, but I have a black glitter, a black loose glitter. I don't need it. I'm going to get rid of the turquoise from BH December. Again, kind of was keeping it for that glitter. I don't need that glitter. I have a ton of glitter. I did film my glitter collection. It's probably not posted just yet, but I don't need it. I don't. I am getting rid of the Aurora from Alter Ego. It's a beautiful palette. It's a great formula, but I just don't need it. I have other colors like this and palettes that I would reach for over it. I'm going to get rid of the Hank and Henry Poison. It's a very, very, very unique color story. The formula was nice. I love this green and that green and everything, but it's just a very odd and unusual combination. And if I wanted a combination like this, I would reach for my Beauty Bay Dark Fantasy over this, which gives me kind of these vibes. I'm getting rid of this Dazzle Me Dead Attack of the Karens. I love the names of these shadows. I love this cover art. I love the idea of this palette. The formula is decent. It's not bad, but it's just another rainbow palette. And I have rainbow palettes that I would reach for over this. And so I'm going to get rid of it. Even though I want to keep it because of the packaging, I'm not going to use it. And I'm going to get rid of it. It's hard, but I'm going to get rid of this Norvina Pro Pigment Mini Volume 2. I have these colors elsewhere. As a single palette, this isn't like a standalone, and the formula isn't just immaculate. There's no reason for me to keep it. I don't reach for it hardly at all. I want to keep it, but I don't need to. I know I don't need to, so I don't want to keep it. This one was even harder for me to decide if I wanted to keep or not. And this is their Nirvana ABH palette, volume 1. Andy Does Stuff sent this to me, and it's a very me color story, but I'm gonna reach for something else over this. Like, it just doesn't offer enough for me. I would reach for my Ace Beauty Violet Sage over this, or my Glam Light Cherry Icy over this, or my Beauty Bay Love Notes. So I'm gonna get rid of it because I have other palettes that I would want to reach for. These shadows are very sensitive. They will break, so they're not very travel friendly. I'm gonna get rid of this Grandeur palette from ColourPop. It's just a very basic nudie palette, and I don't need it. I'm gonna get rid of these. It's the Cara Beauty Yummy in My Tummy and Sip Sip Hooray. They're very pastel color stories that I don't need. The formula is decent. I did play around with them, but they're just not what I need in my collection or something that makes me want to use them, unfortunately. So I'm just gonna pass both of them on. So I have the Alter Ego Goddess and Artemis palette. Now I like Alter Ego's palette's formula, but I don't like their cream formula. And this one has cream in it. So you guys, what I did was I took out all of the creams and created a different palette. So this is a mixture between both palettes, but most of these are cream shadows from the Artemis palette, and I just don't like that formula very much. It's just not my favorite. I like the Natasha Denona cream to matte, but not the Alter Ego. So these are the shadows I decided I didn't want to keep. So that's going. And I'm just going to show you what I did keep. This is my palette now. So hopefully I'll use it more. If not, then I'm going to take out the shimmer shades that I really, really do love and get rid of the rest. So we'll see how this goes. The next thing is the Give Me Glow Grunge palette. I am keeping and not keeping this. A couple of the shades are breaking on me. They don't make this palette anymore. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take out most, if not all of these shades, because I think they're magnetic. I hope they're magnetic. They are magnetic. I just checked. See, it's falling apart. Awesome. And I'm gonna take out most, if not all. The only two shades that I'm like potentially going to keep is this Grunge and Punk shadow, but the Punk is kind of falling apart too. So I'm probably gonna take out all of them, and I'm just gonna use this for my Give Me Glow singles. So technically I'm getting rid of it, all of it or most of it. The next palette and the last palette that I'm going to get rid of, which is really hard for me, but I know Amy's really going to like this palette. It's the Nightshade from BH Cosmetics. The mattes in here just don't perform for me, and the shimmers are really, really pretty, but I just haven't found myself reaching for this palette. No, I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it and see if I use it. Never mind. I'm kidding. So that is everything this month and all of my discoveries this month. And I'm just gonna go now, and bye.